Okay, the time is now 6:30. Our special city council meeting for September 23rd is now in session. Now, first on the agenda is the hearing the residents, and I see that no one signed up, so we're going straight into business. And that is item number one, discussion on the Schertz Young Leaders Program and application process. And before I open it up, I do want to say a few words. Now, I want to take this moment to just talk about, how meaningful this investment is as a city to have this program, the Schertz Young Leaders Program. And let me begin with one important point. We are not canceling the program, and we are not suspending it. This program, in fact, is going to remain, and it's one of the most valuable ways we prepare the next generation of leaders. Leaders who will one day guide our community, our businesses, and perhaps occupy these seats. The question before us tonight isn't whether or not the program will continue, because it will. The real question is, who should this program primarily serve? And how do we ensure it fulfills its true purpose? The success of this program has been extraordinary, and it has grown such a reputation that students outside the Schertz are eager to participate. That speaks volumes for the program itself, the quality and the impact it has. But it also presents a challenge. With only 12 seats available each year, demand is now even greater than ever. And this year alone, we received 24 applications. And 9 of these came from students who do not live in Schertz. If we continue as is, nearly 3/4 of these seats could go to students outside of our city, despite the fact that it's Schertz resources, tax dollars, and the vision that made this program possible. This program carries our city's name. This reflects our city's values. And it is designed to give young people the tools and experiences to become tomorrow's leaders. So tonight we have a very important choice. Do we ensure this investment continues to prioritize our Schertz young, giving them the opportunity they deserve? Or do we open up more seats to other communities at the expense of our own students? My vision is clear. Schertz youth should come first. And council, this isn't about filling the 12 seats. It's about shaping the legacy and the leadership in our community for the next generations to come. And that's why your voices and your guidance tonight is so critical. And with that, we will open it up for discussion. Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I can understand your concern, and I am 100% of the mindset that Schertz comes first whenever we do something as a council, as their elected officials. But I do have two concerns or two questions. Two concerns. Number one, I don't think it's a good idea to change our policy or our program midstream. We're talking about the 25, 26 applications. We put those notices out in good faith, and folks submitted their applications in good faith. And now at the last minute to say, well, oh, by the way, you don't live in Schertz, so sorry, have a nice day. I don't think that's fair to the youth that took the time to submit an application in good faith. Maybe going forward, for the 26, 27, and we advertise it as Schertz only, that may be something to talk about and discuss. But to change course midstream, I think is a disservice, and I don't think that's certainly not the representation that I want to offer to any of our youth in our local communities. Like I said, we advertise this as to SCUC ISD, we put it out there, and I think we need to honor that application. The other concern I have going forward is we have 12 seats. So is the plan, if we were to change the rules going forward, you know, the number of applicants every year go up and down. If we go to 12 seats and in 26, 27, we only have 11 applicants because we said it's for the residents of Schertz only, do we only do 11 and not fill a 12th, or what? I mean, there's always that case where, depending on who's out there and who's interested in the program, we could very well in 26, 27 have, you know, 10 applicants that are not Schertz residents and 5 that are Schertz residents. You just never know what the youth of today or tomorrow are going to do and who's going to be interested and who's not. So, I mean, I think we would have to address that as well going forward if we do change the rules.
No, and just for clarification, I'm not saying that they're not welcome. Maybe that we need to set up a percentage of how many students will be from Schertz and how many from other communities is something that we can work into. Like I said, the possibility is 9 of them could be on this program and only 3 from Schertz. If we have a percentage of 50-50 or 75-25, whether it might work is what something I would consider is giving an equal opportunity to the residents that actually reside in Schertz. Councilmember Hayward?
So, to my knowledge, when we set up this program, it was in conjunction with a partnership with SCUCISD. So if it was with SCUCISD, that means there would be students that live in St. Hedwig, Selma, Universal City, that are going to the schools in Schertz. So if we had that partnership in mind and we didn't necessarily say that you had to be a Schertz resident, then I am in agreement with Councilmember Davis that we don't change this midstream. I also think, looking at a bigger picture, is because we did this partnership, and these are people that are young leaders and are coming to learn about how to be a leader and learning about city government, I look at that as a big picture of these are kids that we can may come back to the city of Schertz and be an applicant pool for those that are sitting in 1, either council seats, or 2, in some of our department seats as staff, because they've learned about city government, because there's so many people that do not know that there are opportunities in city government where they can work. They don't find out until later, or they never find out. And then knowing that there's an opportunity in the city, I think that's where we go. And I think because we said we partnered with the SCUCISD, we should stick with that. I also think about we have other students that live in the city that are at the private schools. They have the opportunity to apply as well. So when we get candidates, we just need to say, these are the candidates, because I would imagine that there is a criteria that they're looking for in these students when they are picking them. I don't think the staff is going out and saying, well, these kids are from this city, so we're just gonna pick them. I think they're looking at a criteria of what was set in this program because it's a program. The other thing I thought about is, yes, it is Schertz tax dollars, but then when I looked at it, if everyone paid taxes, we have about 16,000 homes in the Schertz, and it's costing us $12,000 a year for the program. That's like 75 cents from each resident. To me, that's kind of pennies. Is saying we're spending 75 cents on a program that is significant in getting people the opportunities that they need to be the leaders that we know that they can be. And the other thing is, I think that's something we take up next year, if that is a thing. But if we limit and say so many Schertz residents, like Councilmember Davis said, and then we don't have those students because they're just in Schertz, then what do we do? Does this program will this program still be successful? If we're trying to produce a successful program, we just have to say we have 12 positions and those that apply, and then anybody that wants to be on this committee, because I know that they offered up council to look at the applications. Some of us did, some of us didn't. Some of us didn't have the time to commit to that. And so with having council members on that committee, they were part of making the choice of which students we were looking to settle on if they're going to make that decision. So I think we have a representation from council that can make that decision on these students. So I think not changing this now, we shouldn't. I think it needs to stay the way it is.
Councilmember Brown.
Yeah, I'll start with agreement in that we have a process for this year and not to change it at this point. Yeah, it's not fair to anybody that's applied or is in the process at this point. Leadership is obviously, leadership training, leadership skills are obviously in high demand, not just at the young future leader level, but I mean, our Chamber's leadership program is highly sought after. I know our Texas Realtor Leadership Program is a nationally recognized program with a lot of folks that are trying to get into it. And, you know, like, for example, I'll use our San Antonio Board of Realtors. It's similar to the school district. You have members that live in all kinds of different areas, okay, but they can apply, okay, and they always leave room for a certain number, and again, you know, if that certain number doesn't apply, they don't fill it, but they leave room for folks from other areas that are less served, for lack of a better term, to come and attend these things. And again, leadership schools, leadership training, leadership skills, very high demand, because you just, I don't know why they don't train it anymore. Scouts aren't as organized, I guess, as they used to be, for example. But you know, it's a high demand, highly coveted, and should be very competitive through that selection process as well. So we should be, as Allison said, we should be looking to choose the best, the brightest, the ones that give us the most future return on investment. Because we are investing in them, we should look at some. It doesn't mean that every one of those kids is going to turn around and come back as a coach or a teacher or a council member, but you know, they're going to be a better citizen for it, and you know, what do you call it? An advocate for the city, advocate for the community, and I say the community at large because it is. It's Schertz, it's Cibolo, it's in Universal City, it's St. Hedwig. You know, Selma, we're all beneficiaries of the program. So again, don't want to see any changes at this point through this. If we want to change things for the future, let's put together a working group and do it. But it's going to be a high demand program.
Councilmember Westbrook.
Yes, Mayor. So I'd like to chime in and sort of form a consensus behind the idea that we shouldn't change it midstream. It's already been advertised. They've already submitted applications. Let's move forward with the process as is. But I would like to sort of say that, yes, Schertz should be for Schertz. There should be an emphasis. Maybe it should go to a tie break. I don't know, in the future, like to Councilman Brown says, maybe we're going to have to form a committee. We're going to have to go to staff, let them develop a policy. A member of Schertz versus a member of St. Hedwig, there should be a tie break. Should go towards some member of Schertz. However, I would also think that City of Schertz is interested, much to Councilwoman Hayward's point, is we're developing leaders no matter where they live. And that's probably the most important part, leadership, and that's the key. So that's where I stand, Mayor.
There's no question regarding the students and their capabilities of being leaders. The question is the resources, the taxpayers' money. The city funds this program. And that's where I was coming from, is that at least 50% of the kids selected should be from the city of Schertz. And with that, I'll go ahead and open it up to Councilmember Macaluso.
Yeah, I don't have much different to say than what the other council members have stated. I definitely agree that you shouldn't go right in the middle here and change the rules on it. With that being said, I do think that Schertz residents should get preferential consideration, and whether that is a 75-25 split, something along those lines, I would be comfortable with that, ensuring that the Schertz residents, get the opportunity over someone from another city.
Councilmember Watson.
I think we're on basically all the same page. We want something moving forward to prioritize Schertz and for our residents. You know, the opportunities are going to be great, but right now I think changing it midstream is definitely something to be, we can definitely discuss it the year after and then get everybody on board on that.
Councilmember Guerrero.
I also agree with a lot of the councilmen here. I agree with Councilman Macaluso as far as trying to get something 75 or to 25 in favor of Schertz, because this is a Schertz Young Leaders Program. It's funded by the city of Schertz. Nothing against anybody else. I agree with also Councilman Tim Brown and Councilwoman Ellison that leaders, it doesn't matter where they come from, leaders are leaders, and we definitely need them, whether they're from Schertz or from anybody else. But I do agree that if this is funded by the city of Schertz, 75-25, I agree with that, in favor of Schertz.
Okay. Now, from what I'm gathering, I think the consensus is that we're not going to touch the program, but I do agree if the council agrees that if there is a tiebreaker, the tiebreaker should be this Schertz resident. Am I correct with that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the selection committee should know that any tiebreakers will be given to a Schertz resident. All right. And from what I also gather from the consensus here is that the council would like to take a closer look at the percentages, whether it's going to be 50% Schertz and 50 from other cities, or 75% Schertz and 25. That's something this council will decide once we get that, we start working on the program for the next year's selection, so that we can make sure that there is a consensus regarding the percentage of individuals. And also take a closer look, as Councilmember Davis indicated, if there's more from other cities, for us to take a look and see how we're going to address that if we can't meet the 50% or the 75%. With that, Councilmember Hayward.
I just want everyone to remember, we did this in partnership with SCU CISD. And if we did this in partnership, I think we need to remember that we have kids that go to Clemens that do not live in the city of Schertz. And we need to make sure that we're not jeopardizing that partnership, because they send their volunteers and they bring the students here and they're working with the students to make sure that they get here. And that's one of those things that, to me, if we keep talking about the things that we need to do with education, because I remember that once Councilmember Westbrook wanted us to look at a committee for education. This is part, to me, this kind of goes in line with what he was looking at. We're partnering with the school district to send us the top people that are applying, so when the people are applying, we're getting the best of the best, the cream of the crop. I'm not saying that residents from Schertz are not, but those that are applying, they have the criteria, and we're getting the cream of the crop, and that's what we want. No matter where they're from, they are going to be leaders, and it benefits the whole community one way or another. So just remember that we are partnering with the school district when we start making these decisions.
Mr. Williams, did you want to go over the numbers that you indicated?
Just on the dais, Cassie placed just the number of applicants that were residents versus non-residents, and the number of participants selected into the program based on residents, non-resident, resident, as well as the cost of the program each year. And the first year it was 7 that were accepted in the class. We had 7 applicants. And then it's been 12 for the last 2 years, and then 12 again this year, but the number of applicants has increased. So essentially the ratio for the first 2 years, well, of course it was the same because everybody who applied was accepted. The next year it was 41% to 42% roughly, and then this last year it was almost 38% of the applicants were non-resident, but non-resident, only 25% non-residents were included in the program. And so this year, the ratio again is 38% of the applicants are non-residents. So it just kind of, if you can see how the numbers play out, but if you wanted to codify that somehow, that's fine. That's entirely a policy decision, so.
What other city was, what, the applicants for the other cities? Was it just Cibolo, or can you?
No.
It doesn't say,
It doesn't
we don't,
specify.
I mean, we could go back and research that, but it's
No, it's-
non-church residents.
Yeah, I think there was St. Hedwig, Converse. Yeah, Selma. Mhm. The numbers are pretty reasonable. I mean, they're all under 50%. The question is that in the future, it could escalate to a 75%. And that's why we need to look at this program and try to find that, and like I said, have this council decide exactly what percentage they're comfortable with. After all, we represent this, our constituents here in Schertz. So with that, I think we got clear guidance of which way we want to go. Any other comments?
We can bring something back for
I
future
don't-
consideration? Is that
Yeah,
fair?
this selection process will proceed as scheduled. And then the future ones, we will look and, we'll bring it up to council for their final determination, whether or not there's percentages they want to go or the actual number of bodies they want in there. So that will be, or even increasing the number of students that are, participate. Like I said, it's, the program itself is very meaningful. It provides a lot of skills to future leaders, and it's something we want to continue to have. Councilmember Macaluso, comments?
Yeah, just one quick note, just to clarify that SCUC is a partner, but it is not a requirement that they are from that school district to participate. So I don't want people to misconstrue that was anything that she was saying. I just want to make sure people understand that.
Okay. Councilmember Westbrook.
For clarification, Schertz Cibolo Universal City Independent School District is a premier destination district. Just throwing that out there. When are applications due? Like next season, start of the next cycle, when are they due?
Around this time next year.
No, when do they begin?
They begin in August during the school year?
For next year?
No, this year.
Yeah, not this year. I'm talking about for the next cycle.
It'd be the
Yeah.
same timetable essentially.
It's right after school starts.
So how soon do we need to have a policy in place before people start submitting applications for next year's leadership cycle?
Probably early summer, June or so.
So June back date, so we need to have a policy in place maybe 3 months before?
Sure,
All
yeah,
right.
that sounds good. Yeah, spring, talk about it. Just wanted to clarify a couple of things on the partnership. Again, I can't speak for the school district, but when I came up here in 2022 and presented the program, we did have an agreement with SCUCISD that they would give co-curricular excused absences for this program, and they would provide transportation to the students. So that was sort of their input to the program. There is a cost to them to do that as well. It is open to other schools in Schertz, so, private schools,
Homeschool?
homeschooled. It's open to kids that live in Comal ISD and maybe go to Davenport High School. We just don't have a direct relationship with Comal ISD. They have to work with their individual principal. We were happy to facilitate that for the applicant as well if they needed it. But yeah, so our thought process was like many of our quality of life community type programs. We are very intertwined here, like we're at the senior center and other places where we have people from Cibolo and Marion and all these other people participating in our programs. We've been sort of open to all, and that has been the philosophy and direction from council in the past. If we need to adjust that, we certainly can. One recommendation I would give, instead of going to a percentage type of a program where you might run into that issue where you might not have enough people to fill the slots, is to just add in a point or two on the scoring rubric for people who live in the city limits, and that would give them that extra edge over the other applicants. And that way, that would bump up anybody that was from Schertz, but we wouldn't be beholden then to a percentage of how many students need to be in Schertz. That would be my recommendation.
Okay. Something to consider when we have that discussion. Council, any other comments? Okay, I think we have direction. We are proceeding as scheduled, and then we'll bring it up to council. All right. With that, the time is now 6:56. We stand adjourned.